few probably. It's Dale Wielden. I'm President CEO for the BC Economic Development Association. This session is being recorded because we've got a few people that aren't able to join the session this morning. There was a number of communities that are coming on board right now that we're asking sort of, where or about the system and how to use the system and those types of things. So we're going to do a quick demo. I know that we may have to do some more training, and we'll do that with Leif. We'll line that up over time here, just to make sure everybody knows how to use the system the right way. So Leif, let's get everybody to just sort of shout out where they're from. I don't know the best way to do that because the list that I have just says A2, A5, A6, and then there's a couple of blanks here. But so fire away, people. I'll let you jump in if you want to introduce yourself.
Morning. Hey folks, it's Darren Davidson here at the in Nelson, Economic Recovery Advisor for the Nelson District Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, hi. I'm Tom Thompson, the Executive Director of the Nelson and District Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Partnership. And with us also in my office is Tiana, who's a student that's working with us, and we're very pleased that she's with us.
Great, sounds good.
Hi everyone, I'm Pat DeMels and I'm with the Caslow and Area Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Riley Zimmerman. I'm the new Executive Director at Community Futures Mount Waddington, which is located in lovely Port McNeill.
Hey, Riley. Anybody else want to jump in? No? Okay, Leif, over to you to start things off here. I'm going to probably have to step out off and on here, but
yeah, I love the way you do this progressive disclosure. I'm going to be on the webinar. Then it's, hey, I might have to step out for a couple minutes.
Well, if people would stop lighting fires, maybe I wouldn't.
I get it. You guys are going
yeah.
through. I was actually I was on a demo before I started with you guys today for folks from a very large area in the U.S. and the state of Illinois, and they were complaining about how much rain we're getting. And I said, every time I complain about the weather now, I think about you, Dale, and all of your partners and all the people in British Columbia. And we have nothing to complain about. You guys have really been faced with a lot of adversity this year. But I mean, quite frankly, this trend's kind of been out there for a while for you guys, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. But then again, I think it's fair for the people on the phone to know that the ExecutivePulse works, has worked with us really quickly. We've been able to get up a survey for businesses being impacted, and we are folks are reaching out to businesses as we speak to help. So thanks, Leif, for doing that so quickly for us.
Well, Dale, don't leave before I show you the new Google feature, okay?
Yeah. Okay, yep.
Stick around. And by the way, you're on and I see Ashley's on. If you guys want to add any context to anything, if I forget something or you feel something needs to be embellished or translated to how the folks in BC may use the system, please just jump on and say what you want to say, okay?
Good, yep.
Sounds good.
So I ask you a quick question, Leif, before we get started. I'm sorry, we're going to take notes here, but do you know if there's a slide deck that's going to be shared, or is there anything that's going to be provided as a document?
We can send you, we have a full tutorial in the system that's a PDF that you can, it's really highlights all the main features and functions, and I'll show you where to get that before we're done today, but that is certainly one way. We also have some video tutorials like on how to build the dashboards. And then as Dale indicated, we offer really 24/7 support and unlimited training for the platform as well.
Well done. Thank you very much.
No worries. Here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do if you don't mind. Just make sure you're muted until, if you have a question, unmute yourself, but that way we make sure that there's no errant kind of or ambient noise or any additional sound coming out. But what I'm going to do today, guys, to keep it kind of simple, is I'm going to talk about two kind of flip sides of a coin. I'm going to talk about data inputs, and I'm going to talk about data outputs. And data inputs would be obviously maybe for those of you that are doing something like disaster recovery, where you're filling out a disaster form, or some of you may be doing BR&E visits and you say, hey, I want to memorialize what I just heard from the business. That would be kind of the initial kind of data entry, or memorializing the different activities or transactions that you have with a business. That's one side of what we're going to look at today. The other side is what is staring us in the face right now, which is this dashboard. And this really kind of, in my mind, kind of exemplifies what we're talking about when we talk about analytics and reports. And these two, obviously, you can't have analytics and reports without some way of amassing information. So we're going to talk about both those things. I will tell you up front what I'm not going to cover today, and I'll explain why. Maybe Dale has already talked to all of you, but during this last 18 months roughly of COVID, we have done a lot of work in BC and elsewhere with survey and email campaigns. And that is really for those of you that are familiar with those terms, that's really essentially like using SurveyMonkey type functionality within our platform, where you say, I've got a group of businesses, I want to know what they're thinking about something. I develop a form and say, hey, I'd like you to fill out or answer these 3 questions. And you can do all that low touch. We're offering that in BC for every community, and Dale and Ashley are helping all the affiliate communities that want to do that type of work. So I wanted you to know, on the data entry side, it doesn't have to be manual data entry. You can put the onus, if you will, on the business community to fill out information, or business people to fill out information or create their own accounts, et cetera, in the system. That functionality exists. I'm not really going to focus on that today, although just I want to let you guys know that that does exist. The other thing that I'm really not going to focus on today, really 2 other things I should say to be more specific. Outlook integration, although we do offer the ability for you to sync contacts, calendar events, and email messages back and forth between this platform and Outlook or Exchange Server. That's another feature that I'm not going to show you. The reason I'm not going to show you that today is I'm using a Mac computer, and we only offer Outlook integration for Windows users. So even if I were inclined to want to show that to you guys today, I don't have the ability to do that on this particular computer. The last thing I just want to mention when it comes to things that I'm not going to show you today, but you're going to have to, I guess, take my word for it that it exists. We have a mobile app also that is available for Apple users, Android users, and Kindle users. And it is a light version of the main CRM. And Dale, if you're still on the webinar, I want to mention to you that we are turning our attention, because we've gone through so many iterations of the Outlook integration. We've really made that a pretty robust package. We have kind of ignored the mobile app for about a year. We're going to be turning our attention back to the mobile app and really adding some significant features and functionality to the mobile app and some new navigation. That's on the radar screen right now. So going back to what I was originally saying, I'm going to be showing you guys today data inputs and data outputs, or where you can memorialize information about the businesses or business contacts you're working with. And then we're also going to look at the analytics and reports. And along the way, we'll touch on things like user preferences and automation features that make your life easier. There's going to be a lot of other things that we kind of touch on, and I'm planning to do this. Probably this will be about an hour today, including what we're going through right now. So let's talk about some general. Yes, Dale.
If I can just jump in there.
Please.
You were talking at the beginning about the survey functionality and allowing businesses to fill in the information themselves. And Ashley does that programming. She's turned phenomenal at it. But the wanted to mention that really only works when you have the contact name of the business. So you need the business name, but you need the contact name of the business and the email addresses. So because it goes to the email addresses of the contacts, because you're actually talking to a person, you're not talking to a bricks and mortar. So that's where you need to have your contact information. So.
Great points.
Yeah.
So normally I would start on the data input side of the equation, but what's staring us in the face right now is this dashboard. Before we jump into the dashboard, the only thing I want to mention to all of you, because this is and Dale's probably already covered this with you, but I just want to make sure that we do touch on this today. All the BC systems are hosted in Canada. All the data resides in Canada. I'm actually showing you a U.S. system today. I have it looking like it's a Canadian system, but this system is pointing to U.S. servers. You guys would actually be on Canadian infrastructure, and all of your data is housed in Canada. These are obviously web-based or cloud-based solutions. And the other thing that's important for you to know is we provide to Dale and to Ashley and to all of your partners unlimited use and user features. So there are no such things in British Columbia as seat licenses, because what we really, I think, collectively all view economic development as a team sport. And in order for you to work as a team, you shouldn't be inhibited by, oh, we only have money for 3 users or 4 users. The other thing I just want to touch on when we're talking about the ability for you to add a number of users, there are privacy settings in the system that allow you to screen information, maybe for your eyes only, or within a work team. You might say, hey, my emails can only be visible to me and the 3 people that work in my office, even though other people may have access to our CRM. So you can do that. We allow geographic segmentation and user role segmentation. So for example, Ashley might be a top level or administrative level user. Inherently, she has rights to see and do things that I may not have if I'm a low level user in the system. And you can mix and match all those things. So in some of your communities, we may have geographic silos set up. So certain users can only see a portion of your market area or your community. They may have low level user access, which means even though they're constrained by geography, their user role is such that they can only do limited things. And then on top of that, you might say, hey, when I'm adding confidential information, I don't want some of these other users to see it, and you can do that as well. So just know there's a variety of ways that you can really stratify information in the CRM, and we'll get into that when you guys actually start using the platform. Some of you would transition to be users, and we'll get into all that with you. But let's start with dashboarding. Dashboarding is one of 3 reporting pathways that we offer. And what dashboarding does best is what you are seeing here. And that is kind of an instantaneous gut check when you log into the system that may show you how well you're doing in terms of goal attainment. It may show you snapshot information, data trends, or excuse me, snapshot information on data or data trends, longer term data trends. And I just have some examples here of different charting types, and you can see the representation, kind of a mashup here of the top left is a goal, and it's showing me a gauge and how well we're doing in terms of BR&E outreach. And then I'm seeing what people are saying about workforce, and then I'm looking at ownership trends in terms of foreign-owned companies over time. And that's the idea of the dashboard. The idea of the dashboard is really to give you that kind of instantaneous, what is the data telling us? How well are we doing in terms of goal attainment? Now, I just want to mention a couple things because everybody on the webinar today knows what dashboarding is, but I just want to kind of give you our take on dashboarding. We give every user of the platform the autonomy to create as many dashboards as they want in the system. So a lot of your colleagues in British Columbia are routinely doing what we would consider to be BR&E activities. They're also, as a subset of that, doing business walks. They're doing, obviously, many of them are doing disaster work. That would be COVID and what you guys are experiencing now and experienced the last couple of years with wildfires. All of those different types of data inputs have a corollary or potential corollary with setting up dashboards. So each user in the system could conceivably say, hey, I've got a BR&E dashboard, I've got an entrepreneurial development dashboard, I've got a workforce development dashboard. You can do that. These graphical containers, we call these gadgets, and each dashboard can have up to 9 of these. Now, I can make graphical changes when I'm creating this content, but I can also make changes after the fact. So for example, here I've got a donut chart in the top right. If I want to make a change to that, I just click on the update option and I can change the data labels. I can change a lot of different things here. I'm actually going to change the graphing type and say, you know what, I want to make this a pie chart. And I'm going to hit save. Now, it's a nuanced change, but it's a change that I'm making here. The idea with these gadgets, they represent different chunks of data. And again, each user could put up to 9 of these on a given dashboard. And I like to think of the dashboards as kind of a blank canvas or a bulletin board that doesn't have a message yet. These gadgets are the message, essentially. So just know that each one of you will have the autonomy to create as many of these as you want. Conceivably, some of you might be doing BR&E, extensive BR&E work in the future, and you say, you know what, I'm going to have one dashboard just on sales trends, another dashboard on employment trends, another dashboard on community affinity rankings, etc. You can do all that with this dashboarding. Now, I just got done telling you that you guys can have as many of these as you want, but the reality is that for most of our users, the trend we are seeing, most of the communities throughout North America that are using the platform, they may have some of their own dashboards. Users within a community, you know, a given organization may have some unique dashboards, but the overwhelming trend that we're seeing is people are sharing dashboard content because it keeps everybody on the same page. So one of the big things that I want you guys to know about dashboards is you have the ability, many users have the ability to see the same dashboards. And so then you're working off the same common understanding of where you are, where you're going, and what the data is telling you. The other thing I just want to mention before we leave this dashboard, I'm not going to camp out on the dashboard concept, but what I do want to mention to you is many of the senior level leadership within a given organization might say, I don't have the time or inclination to be logging in every day to get dashboards. We offer automation functionality that enables me to say, I want to see this dashboard, and I'll show you how I do this. I would update this dashboard, and I would say, I want to set a recurrence, and I want to get this weekly on Fridays, for example. Now, once I do this, this is not fundamentally different than you guys getting your bank statements once a month automatically digitally. The system will literally preemptively send me as a user one or multiple dashboards. And I want to mention something about this whole idea of automation with the dashboards. It's going to send me the eye candy here, the graphs, but it's also going to send me the corroborating data underneath each one of these gadgets, and everything will be put into a nice reporting booklet format, and I'll show you what those look like in a couple of minutes. And I do want to mention I'm using a banner here, Anywhere Canada. Obviously, I recognize you guys are all Canadian, and more importantly, I think I need to give Dale a shout out because our systems 15 years ago, none of our systems in North America were branded. We started branding systems at Dale's insistence when BC came on as a client, probably 13, 14 years ago, starting with Vernon. Dale said, look, there are going to be a lot of different people potentially using the platform. I want them to feel like it's their system. I don't want them to feel like it's a generic CRM. I want it to be branded. That branding at the time was revolutionary, and now the brands in all of our systems, because branding now is, we're doing it everywhere beyond British Columbia. All of our clients have brands. The idea of branding is you're going to see when we do communication in the platform or generate reports, everything will key in on the brand. So the brand is an important thing, and you can thank Dale for the whole concept of branding. This never occurred to anybody here before he started telling us that he was insistent on that. But dashboarding is one type of report, and we'll circle back on the other two reports, but I want to kind of transition and just show you some data entry options. And then we'll kind of do a soft transition to reports because we'll look at analytics for one business, and then we'll go back in and look at the last two reporting pathways. The only reason I start here with dashboarding is because, and I typically don't like to start with reports, but it is for most of our users these days the first thing that they encounter in the platform. Because I didn't mention this to you, but as a user preference, you could say, hey, I have 4 dashboards, or we have 4 shared dashboards. My primary focus is disaster recovery. I want to see the disaster recovery dashboard when I log in. So you can tell the system where you want to land when you log in as a default. Dale, did you have anything you wanted to throw in here, or if you're still in the room?
No, I'm good, thanks. Yep, continue on.
Okay, so let's go to the add option here, and this is going to be one of 2 to 3 ways that I'm going to show you today to add information. This add menu, roughly the time that Dale came on board with Vernon many years ago, we were transitioning the interface, our interface, and it's gone through many transitions since then. But the idea is that we started recognizing that whether people were using BlackBerry or Kindle devices or Apple devices or Android devices, everybody was working in a more atomized, more of a sequestered type of a graphical interface with these apps or gadgets or widgets. That's the way everybody works these days on our digital devices. I don't care what you're using, but I mean, if you open up a Surface tablet from Microsoft and you want weather, there's a weather app. Or if you're on your iPad, there's a weather app, and that's how you get weather. And we are kind of taking that same theme in this system. These are some of the apps in this system. And, obviously this is visually for me almost crippling because I've got 30 features here. So not only does this look and feel and kind of work, and I'll show you in a second how this does work, but it's the same as what you would find on your iPhone or Android device in terms of apps or widgets or tiles, whatever type of label you put on those things. But in my mind, this interface is only as effective as my ability to easily visually index what's in front of me. And I do that by my ability as a user. Each of you can do this. You can constrain the features that exist simply by Xing things out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put myself, because you guys, this is, I think it's current events for you all. You're dealing with disasters right now. You're coming out of COVID, hopefully. I don't know if the U.S. is really coming out at this point. It looks like we're going back, but hopefully you guys are coming out of COVID. But at the same time, you're working with the fires and the wildfires in many parts of the province. So I'm going to keep COVID. I'm going to keep disaster here, and I'm going to get rid of many of the other features. Now, all these features are spelled out in the tutorial, and when we do the orientation sessions, we'll walk you through what many of these more general features are all about. But I want you guys to see, more importantly, my ability as a user to really visually constrain the interface. So here I've got comments, company, I want to add comments, I want to add companies, I want to be able to add contacts. I mentioned COVID and disaster. I want to attach files, and I want to be able to create ticklers. This is the feature set that I'm going to be using the rest of the afternoon. Now, the other thing we give you the ability to do is you can take these gadgets or these different features here, these apps, if you will, and you can move them around. So I can determine the order that I want to put these in as well. And again, from a visual standpoint, your ability to pare down the interface is going to make it easier for you to navigate. It makes this interface much less confusing because you can say, hey, all I do is BR&E, or all I do is business walks. I want the ability to add companies, contacts, and business walk data. You can really simplify this structure to a point where it makes it much easier for you to navigate. But I want to show you a couple things here. We're going to start with, and this is something I wanted to show Dale because he has not seen this before. We're going to start with adding a company. Obviously, he's seen adding a company before, but we added another feature that he's going to be paying us dearly for across the province, and I want him to know what that feature is before we activate it for him. So, Dale, when I click on add a business, the historic way that I would add a business is like this. I'd say Dale's Dry Cleaning, okay? And the system's going to say, we've already got Doug's Dry Cleaning and Tammy's Dry Cleaning. Is it okay for me to add Dale's Dry Cleaning? We're using algorithms here. Yes, it is. They're an existing business, and they're located, in this example, on the north side of town. That's all I have to do to create tombstone information or DNA or dog tag information for this business. Now, there are other fields. We have a NAICS builder here that's very nice. We have ticklers and tags. I can label things my own way. And these forms, Dale has already specified for most of you, or many of you, he's going to help you on what constitutes a company placeholder in the system. But what I'm doing here is nothing more than really carving out a digital file folder for, in this case, Dale's dry cleaning. I'm going to come down and hit save and complete. I just want you to see what you have to do. This is the heaviest lift you're going to have to do in the system, and that is you're creating a company placeholder in the system, and what this is showing you is this placeholder. By the way, this menu, what would you like to do next? This menu can be turned on or off, and I want to mention to you that the second tier of this menu is going to be exactly those features that I just told the system I wanted to use in the main add menu. So this menu, these are the global features: update, delete, email, print. These are kind of the blocking and tackling features. The more granular features, I want to add a comment, a contact, COVID, disaster. That's what I just configured in the main add menu. When I do that, the system says, I'm taking my cue from what he just told me. I'm not going to show him these extraneous menu options anymore. I'm going to keep these menu options to the ones he specified. So I wanted you to see that. What I am going to do here is I'm going to delete out Dale's dry cleaning to show you one thing, and that is deletion is always, for those of you that may do shop work or woodworking, it's measure twice, cut once. And we can pull back deletions. It's not a problem, but we still want to give you the ability to gut check and say, are you sure you want to delete this? Yes, I do. So I'm right back to the dashboard now. Dale, this is the feature that I want to show you. I'm going to add the company again, Dale. And in this case, though, I'm going to add Mighty Fine. Okay? Dale, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'm paying attention.
I'm going to do a Google search, Dale.
Okay.
And the system, based on my geographic location, it's going to show me the matches. So when you're using this search, Dale, if you have a partner in Kelowna and they're using the search, it's going to show first and foremost those businesses. If somebody's using this in Vernon or whatever, it's going to show Vernon businesses first. Here's Mighty Fine, Dale, and this is a donut shop not too far from me. It's probably, I haven't been in there in years, but I always think about them. I drive by them sometimes. But I'm looking for Mighty Fine. I click on the name, and the system is going to give me information about the business. And all I have to do here is copy this information, and it will fill in the fields for me.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great feature. Yeah.
Well, you know, this is where we are in 2021. People complain about filling in 3 fields of information, but we can literally give you information this way. This is a nice feature. I just wanted you guys to see it. We're not going to keep going with this, but I just wanted you to get the idea that you can do these searches. This is going to be a prevalent way that people end up. And, you know, Dale, this is also for your partners that are doing investment attraction. They're going to say something like, hey, we're working with HP in California. We're trying to lure a distribution center for Amazon or HP into our community. They're going to be able to look up Amazon here, or HP, or IBM, or General Motors, or what. I mean, you know, this is going to give you the ability to do whatever you want to do here. So I wanted your partners to see this, but we're going to go back to the add option here. And forget about adding the tombstone information, because most of you are going to be coming into this. Dale will have already migrated probably business license data for you in the system in many instances. So you're not going to have to typically worry about adding onesie, twosie businesses, whether you fill out those fields manually or you use that Google search feature. It's going to be, for most of you, not your normal course of events. But this menu still has a really important place because it allows me to do things very dynamically. Now, I'm going to do a disaster survey. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to leave the page. I'm not going to fill that in. I'm going to click on disaster, and the system says, what business do you want to add disaster information to? And I say, I want to add it to the business name Xeon Technology Partners. I type in 3 or more characters, and the system allows me to add this information, and it's linked to Xeon Technology Partners. Now, what you guys will notice, forget about the disaster form here. It's not one you guys are using. You have your own forms in your systems, and many of your colleagues are using very specific community-based forms for disaster work. But the bigger issue here is that business Xeon, their digital file folder is not in front of me right now. What's in front of me are the data inputs. So I can say, hey, the day I met with them was the 1st, and I was the person that met with them, and I met with John Higgins, and I'm going to put information in here. And this gives me the ability to fill in information very easily. I'm going to come down to the bottom and hit save and complete. And this is going to link that disaster data to the business, in this case, Xeon. Again, Xeon has never visually been in front of me for me to add this information. I did all this very dynamically by simply telling the system, hey, I've got something I want to do, and I want to link it to an entity. And that's what I just did here. Now, I'm going to delete this out as well, because I don't want to just create a lot of slop in this system, even though it's a demo. I want to show you another pathway. And by the way, this works whether I say I want to add a comment. Who do you want to link the comment to? I want to link it to Xeon. Okay. This interface allows me to do quick, dynamic, essentially almost word associations, saying I want to link some sort of information or attach files or whatever where the company name is Xeon. And by the way, one of the preferences that I set in all of the systems for myself is I don't want anything to chain up beyond the company level. In other words, Ashley might be using this feature and she's telling the system as a preference, I want to be able to add comments not only to companies, but to contacts, and I want to be able to add comments to forms like the wildfire survey or whatever. She can tell the system as a preference how she wants to link things. I find the cleanest way to link data is everything chains up to the business. Everything ultimately funnels to the parent entity, which is the business. And that would hold true, guys, even if I want to add a contact. I want to add a contact. What business do you want to link it to? I want to link it to Xeon. That's all I have to do. So this interface, the beauty of this is it's quick. It doesn't require me to go to Xeon or open up their digital file folder. I can do all that work from here. And you see how pliable this interface is. I can move things around. I can determine on the fly if I want to add features back, etc. So this is one way to navigate and add information. We're going to do a different type of navigation, however. And what I am doing here is essentially the digital equivalent. What I'm about to do is the digital equivalent of me opening up a metal file cabinet, pulling the file on Xeon, and adding some of the same information that we just pretended to add. I'm going to do that here using the feature on the right, which is the search feature. And in this case, all I have to do to index the file folder for Xeon is I have to type in 3 or more characters. And the system says, you mean, that's what it should say. Let me see if it's going to do it or not. That's great. What did I do wrong here? Nothing, huh? Interesting. Let me hit enter and see if I get, okay, I got results here. That's kind of weird. I got to check that, Dale. Something's not right there. I'm going to go to the company here. This is the digital file folder of this company, and it should have allowed me to index it this way. I don't know why. Oh, there, finally it does. That's what it's supposed to allow me to do, is index it like this. But this is the digital file folder of this company. Now, I want to show you a couple of things here, just so you're aware of how this works. The information over here, this is the tombstone information, and these are all live links, by the way. So if I have a mobile device and I click on the phone, it's going to generate a phone call. These are mapping coordinates. And by the way, this is a 12345 zip code in the States. I don't know if it's going to show me anything on a real map. I don't know if it's going to take me anywhere. But yeah, here it is. Okay, so you get the idea. This is going to give me mapping capabilities when I click on the address. And by the way, I just want to mention to you guys, those of you that end up using this platform, this pop-up is going to be a recurring theme for you. And we do this deliberately because in past versions of the platform, people would tell us, I've clicked 3 times and I've gotten lost. The way we eliminate people getting lost is we put something front and center. When you're done with it, you close it out and you're right back to where you started from before. But here's the tombstone information. There are no blank fields here. Anything that's been filled out will show up. And by the way, the other thing I want to show you is if I want to do anything with this company profile, I click on the gear and this gives me conflated menu options: print, map, email, update, merge, delete. You get the idea. One click, multiple features. So if I wanted to update this Xeon record, I click on the update option. Again, you notice the pop-up in the foreground. This gives me the ability, in this case, I'm going to change the phone number to 5 here, or the fax number to 5. I'm going to come down and hit save and complete, and the system is going to lock that change in. This gives me the ability to do this pretty easily. And also, again, I don't need to get this pop-up if I don't want it. I like this pop-up. In many cases, it gives me the ability to jump and do something else. But all I wanted you to see thus far is this is the tombstone information. If I want to do anything with that tombstone information, or maybe email this company information to somebody else, or map it, I can map it from here, print it from here. There's a lot of functionality. I'm looking at the business. I see 2 contacts. I see a timeline of all transactions with that business. And I can look at a summary timeline or a detailed timeline. And the detailed timeline would be if I'm really adding a lot of information, the system is going to show me whatever I'm adding. Below that, there's a comment kind of registry, if you will. I can see what all my colleagues have said about this business and what I've said. And then I see any files that have been attached, and I see people following this business. And for those of you that are using social media, you know what following something is. In this case, if I added an update to this business profile, all of these folks would be notified either through their mobile app or a conventional email, depending on their preference choices about what it is I'm saying about this business. These right-hand side containers can be moved around. The system will remember my preferences. They also, in many cases, allow me to do things. Here's the contacts for this business. I've got John and Melinda Higgins. If I want to add another contact, all I have to do is clone one of these 2. I can take the main name or company name, the main address, the main phone number, and apply it to many other contacts for the business without having to start from scratch. There's update features, you get the idea. But here, this allows me to not only see the contacts, and I can configure these grids any way I want, but I can also add additional contacts. The comment feature here, I can add comments right from here. So this widget not only allows me to see comments, but it enables me to add them. Here, I can not only see documents that have been attached, but I can add those documents. I'll show you. I'm going to add four or five files here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to take it, hit enter here. It's going to attach those files. There they are. So these features can be moved around. They can be amplified. There's a lot of different filtering and sorting options. You can change things. But the bottom line is when you're looking at the dossier of a business, you will see contacts, a timeline, comments, files, and who else is interested in that business. Now, we started over here with add, company, comment, contact, you get the idea. If I pull down the menu within the portfolio, the tools that I specified on add, that same toolkit is available as a pull down menu here as well. So if I want to add disaster information for Xeon within their portfolio, I do it like this. That's all I have to do. The system's not going to ask me, where do I want to link it? It knows I'm in Xeon right now. So this is another way to navigate the platform. And Dale, I don't know about you, but depending on what I'm doing, where I am in the system, I'm going to use a mixture of these different navigation pathways. Sometimes it's easier for me to start at the add screen, and sometimes if I'm already working or looking at something and I want to add, I might use a gadget or the pull-down menu. There is no wrong way to add information. We do have users that have a preference, but there's really no wrong way to add information. Now, I want to show.
Wade,
Yes.
just one thing to add. And I'm not sure, maybe you've done it or maybe you're going to do it. There's a way to actually print, this type of information into a nice report on the company, on all the interaction. I think, are you going to show them how to do that?
You're right on. You're right. You're one, as usual, you're one step ahead here. Okay. So, and this is, Dale, this is also a logical bridge back to reporting, because what we looked at with dashboard originally, that splash screen, that's showing them an array of responses. That would be an array of what contacts or companies are telling them, and they're getting multiple responses. What we're going to do now is we're going to look, and remember the brand here, guys. Remember the Anywhere Canada brand. In this portfolio for Xeon, there is a little icon in the top right, and if I click on it, this is going to give me a one-click comprehensive report on this business. Now, you might say, well, why do you need this report? You're already showing all those elements. You just showed us we can see comments and files and the timeline and everything else. That's for you guys. Those portfolios are for users. But if you have your local elected official calling you and saying, I'm going to be over in 2 minutes and I want to know what you know about Xeon, I'm probably not going to want to show him or her the CRM itself. I want more of a quote unquote board ready report for them. Now, here is that report, Dale, formatted, right? But here's what I'm going to do. I have my computer hooked up already. I don't really have it, but hypothetically, I have my computer hooked up to a projector, and I want to show this as a PowerPoint. So I'm going to export this. I can export it as PDF, Excel, PowerPoint, or Word. I'm going to export this report. I know my elected official is going to be here in 2 minutes. I want to make sure that she sees this in the most positive light possible. I'm going to export this as a PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to put it on my laptop or whatever. And here's my PowerPoint on this business. And you can see this is going to give you a very, very nicely formatted breakdown. And by the way, guys, all the data in this system is really pretty lame. But in real life, you would see, hey, look at all the comments. And by the way, this report, forget about the PowerPoint aspect of this. If all I want to see are comments, I can literally say, just show me comments we've added for this business over the last 2 months. You can constrain information or open information up. There's a lot of switches here that enable you to really customize these entity-based, and when we say entity, we mean single entity-based reports. So this is not fundamentally different than what our other reports do, but these type of reports are only focused on one person or one company or one thing in the system. Dale, I know some of your users are thinking about using this for like sites and buildings inventory. You would have the same ability to say, hey, I want to look at all attributes of a building, any notes we've added, any files we've attached, etc. That entity could also be reported on this way. Contacts can be reported on this way. Users can be reported on this way, these single entity type of reports. Dale, did you want to throw anything in here? Okay. Let's go back to the last two reporting options because we talked about dashboarding. I'm just going to go back here just to refresh everybody's memory. This type of report, I said, is one of 3 reporting pathways. The other 2 are under reports, custom reports and power search. And this is like for any of you that golf or garden or do home repair. We have a number, humans, we always, back to the cavemen days and cave women days, we've always used implements or tools. And the idea is these are 3 reporting tools and they all do something best or a little different. Obviously, dashboard, have said now 3 or 4 times, it's the in-your-face gut check when you log in. That's what it does best. The custom reports, what they do best is they make it easy for me to get information. So if I go to custom reports, I'm just going to show you a couple of examples. These are essentially one-click reports in the system, and I'll give you a couple of examples of this. Here's an investment attraction report. For those of you that are lucky enough to be doing business recruitment, this is kind of a business recruitment summary report in the system. All I'm changing here is the date range. I'm opening up my date range a few years. Notice again, here's my graphic. I'm going to export this as a PDF. I'm using a Mac. I mean, doesn't matter. I'm using Office 365 with a Mac essentially, and this is going to work the same way whether you guys are Windows users or Mac users. Here is this graphic. And the idea, again, is we're trying to make the reporting easy for people in these booklets. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to change under my account preferences. I'm going to change the skin of the system, okay? And I have Anywhere Canada. I'm just going to go to Anywhere. I'm going to keep this generic. And you're going to see it's going to change the look of the system a little bit. Here's the Anywhere. Doesn't matter where we are in North America. This is the Anywhere banner. And I'm going to go back to reports, and I'm going to go back to custom reports, and I'm going to run a couple more reports for you guys. I want to do a company roster report. Those of you that might say, hey, I need a directory of all businesses that are in the CRM. The only thing I'm changing is the date variable, going back to the 1st of 2016 and running it over essentially the last 5 years. The system wants to save me steps, by the way. This is a report I haven't run with these date variables before. The system says, is this going to be the new normal, or are you always going to run this with that 5-year timeline? If yes, say yes. If no, say no, or don't ask me again. I'm going to say no. Notice I changed the brand. This entire report's color structure and the brand changed. Let's do Word. I'll export this. I don't think I have Word open. Well, we'll see. Might take a second, but we'll do Word. I just want you guys to get an idea that there's really no wrong way to export data. This will allow you to do a lot of different exports. I don't think I had Word open on my Mac, so it might take a second. But the bottom line with this, and all I wanted you to see, are these reports are really easy to use. They're meant to be simple. Now, I'm going to show you as soon as Word's done here. And it should pop up here in a second. I apologize. I didn't have it open in the background. Let me see if it's going to finally open here or not. There we go. There's the Word version. And notice, because it's more of a landscape, it's laying it out in landscape, you get the idea. So this is a nice feature. Now, what I wanted to show you guys, however, because we talked about it earlier, is we said a lot of people these days are using mail campaigns to communicate with the businesses. One of the other reports I just want to show you that I think is kind of neat is the email verification report. And that is, and Ashley, I don't know if you guys have used this or not, but the email verification report allows me to say, show me all bad email addresses in the system. And the system will show you those email addresses that are prone to bounce back. So if you are using some of our kind of arm's length features like Survey Campaign or Mail Campaign, where you're asking the business community to help you fill out data or fill in the blanks, those campaigns are only going to be as effective as the hygiene of the emails that you have. This is a great way for me to see the emails that are bad, and I can even update it from this. That's what these one-click reports are designed to do. They make it easy for you to get information. Ashley, have you used this feature if you're still on the webinar?
I haven't, but I will in the future for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good feature. So again, we've covered 2 of these reports. We've done the dashboard. What it does best is certainly it gives you that gut check. These custom reports, what they do best is they make it easy. You guys may have already figured out the limitation of these custom reports is because of ease of use, they're highly prescriptive and don't give me as a user, I can't deviate from that script. In other words, right now they're showing me in the background, it's showing me this email verification report. I get to see the name of the contact, the company they're with, the email address, the status, when it was dated and it gives me an update option here. What if I want to see more about this contact? This is not the report for me. This report is easy. These whole series of custom reports are easy to use, but they hem me in. So we have a middle of the road reporting system, which is called Power Search. And I'm just going to tell you guys this, we are in our 21st year as a company, and this search feature predates the 21 years that we have been in business as a private sector company. This goes back to when I was doing economic development over 21 years ago as a practitioner. And we had the many versions ago, the precursor to this. And this was our way to create our own reporting recipes in the system. This is the kind of tool you would use if you say, show me all businesses in the community that are owned by a woman, that are in our downtown area, and that are doing some form of manufacturing. That's what you can do with this tool. This tool gives you the ability to really extrapolate data on a very kind of a very granular way. And this also gives you a lot of latitude once you get your data on what you can do with it. I'm just going to give you guys a quick example of this. I'm going to say I want to pull back. I'll do BR&E information because the province is pretty good generally at doing retention work. So I'm going to say I want to pull back BR&E data. And you know what? I also want to pull back some tombstone data from the businesses that we visited with. So automatically you can see this reporting tool is giving me much more latitude than the custom reports just did. Just by virtue of this first splash screen, I can already combine data elements here. I want company data and retention survey data related to those companies. Now, this also gives me the ability to do comparative analysis. So a lot of our clients say, I want to look at BR&E trends over the last 5 years. I can set that up. Or, hey, I want to look at what community A versus community B in terms of BR&E. Or, you know what, I want to look at manufacturers versus healthcare versus IT. You can do all that with this switch in step 2. I'm not going to do any of those things. I don't need this to get a good query, but I could do that if I want. I don't care about the company name, but I do want the geographic area. I want the industry, the NAICS code. I want the type of location. Now, remember, if all I cared about were locally owned, headquartered businesses, in this example, I would flip this switch, but I don't. I'm just going to show this to you. We're just going to pull back data quickly. Here's my BR&E form in this system. Again, this does not resemble any of the BR&E forms across the province of British Columbia, but I want to know who we visited with. I want the company contact. I want the first name, last name, title, and their email. And I want workforce trends. And this survey, this BR&E survey, has a whole section on workforce. And again, if I only care about those that have a increasing workforce, in this example, I could specify that as well. I'm going to run the query. I'll probably get like 50 results, maybe around 50 in this system. There are not a lot of 39. Excuse me. I have 39 businesses here. Here's my data set as a grid. There is not one major thing I can do with this information. I can sort at the top level, but there's not a lot I can do here until I click options. Then I can export to Excel. If I want to email all these folks, there's a built-in low-end email system. This is not what we've been referring to earlier today, the features that British Columbia has with setting up campaigns. This is a quick and dirty, hey, I want to email all the people we visited with in the last 6 months and just say, here's information about a new loan fund or a new program. This gives me the ability very easily to email right from the platform. This is, again, not the campaign or survey campaign functionality. That's different. This is just an easy to use integrated email feature. Here's my graphs here. And this is going to look familiar to you guys because it's going to generate a booklet. And this is going to be a BR&E booklet. And it's going to show me all the fields of information that I just specified. I'm not going to export. I'm just going to go through it like this so you guys can see what this looks like. This is going to give me a very, very nice, clean BR&E report with a couple of clicks. So I can do that. If I want, I can do summaries in this. There's mapping functionality. I can do mass following. If I want to keep these businesses on my radar screen, instead of following one business, I can follow a group of businesses here. But what I want to show you guys, and it's kind of reminiscent of where we started today, is the Save Search feature. I told you guys you can save and automate dashboards, and you can do the same thing with these power searches, these user-defined queries. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to call this, I'm going to call this BCEDA BRE report. Now, if I'm Ashley, and I know this is what I want to report on many, many times over because I didn't put any date constraints on this, I can literally conjure this up with one click. What does that remind you of? It should remind you of the custom reports that I just showed you. The benefit of those reports was I could do them with one click. I can convert these recipes that contain multiple data switches into one-click reports this way. So I can make power searches one-click reports or give them that functionality. But like the dashboard where I said, hey, we can set up recurrences, this also gives me the ability to say, we've got a BRE committee meeting the first Tuesday of every month. Monthly, the first, let's do Monday of every month. I need this report to land in my inbox. The system will send me a nicely graphically formatted report. It will send me a nicely formatted grid-based report, and as a courtesy, it will even send me the Excel data, the raw data, in case I want to do my own kind of extrapolation of that information. So you've seen the three different reporting options. You're going to find you're going to end up gravitating to one or more of these.
When
Yes.
you have that box open on the Save Search, this is the dynamic report at the very bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
What are you meaning by that?
Okay, dynamic, thank you for prompting me on that. The dynamic report would be if I ran this search and I said I want to look at BRE trends over the last month, and then I select dynamic, and then I say I want to get this report in my inbox every month, the system's only going to give me every month the last 30 days worth of BRE data. So that dynamic option allows me to use date ranges. A lot of our clients say, I only want to look at the last quarter's worth of data, and every time the report's sent to me, it's going to show me the last 3 months. You can do that with these type of reports. This is, Dale, I've been using this a lot lately, and I think you'd agree with me. If somebody said, hey, you're going to be on a desert island for 3 years, but you still have to use this platform, which one of these reporting tools are you going to use? You can't take all three with you, only one. This would be it. This is, to me,
it totally is. So like right now, as you know, we're on fire up here, and we have a survey that we had you create that businesses are completing. And so every morning we get a report. We get the report emailed to us every morning as to who needs callbacks, so that then we assign. We use that feature once the report's run. And if you, is this a survey report you're looking at right now, Lee?
Yep.
On the screen. So if you go to one of the gearboxes, I think it should show on here. I hope I'm not embarrassing us, but if you go to the gearbox there, I think you can share that survey report, right?
You mean on any of these?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So you can email that retention survey to a partner, or to somebody you want to do follow up, or you can, and that's what we're doing. We're emailing that survey that a business. We're sending it to volunteers who have said that they will follow up with businesses. So that just makes it so convenient to be able to do that, and for follow up purposes. Yeah.
Right, where you can run the power search and request to only identify businesses that have requested a follow-up phone call. We get a tidy report of those, and then right from this screen, we can email the referral to our volunteers.
Yeah, so handy.
So the last thing I just want to talk about, Dale, unless you guys have something else, is I want to be mindful of everybody's time, is the where you get help in the system is we talked about the tutorials. Under downloads, there's a full tutorial here. This is the user manual on the system. It's a PDF, it's a live PDF. Those of you that have 2 monitors on your desk, you could put one of these, this tutorial on one screen. And if you want to know about how you clone a contact or whatever, there's a whole section on everything here. The other thing I want to mention is that this has a number, and Dale, your system also has a number of MP4 or video tutorials, and there's a download for that here. The other thing I just want to mention is throughout the platform, we offer tooltip assistance, and you saw question marks in a lot of places. Anywhere you see a question mark, the system will kind of help you. For those of you that are golfers, stay in the fairway, or for those of you that drive, you're staying in the center of the lane here. This is what this feature gives you the ability to do very, very easily in the platform. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys when it comes to getting assistance is under help, we offer the ability for you to go into technical support, and you can either request help calling our toll-free number, or you can fill in this form. And Dale, there's a distinction here that's important. If you're calling our toll-free number, somebody's going to pick up and respond to you, but they're going to say, "Who is this?" It's Ashley. They don't know Ashley the way I know Ashley. Some of them do, but not all of them. Somebody's going to pick up the phone that's never spoken with Ashley before, and they're going to say, "Ashley, what system are you in?" "Oh, I'm in BCEDA system," or whatever. "I'm in Vernon system," whatever it might be. Prince George, whatever. "I'm in one of the," and then they're going to have to log into that system, spoofing her account to see what her digital breadcrumbs were, to see if she generated any errors. Sometimes we get those notifications, but sometimes there's soft errors that we don't see when she's kicking them off, or there may be a problem. When she fills in this form and we get it, then we know, okay, because the system is then connecting the dots for them. It's Ashley, she's in this system. She was using, if you fill in this form, it's going to say she was using this web browser. She's on this operating system. It's going to give them a lot more context. Again, we don't mind you calling us, but this is the more scientific way to get assistance, because it gives our guys a lot more context, just the way that the system is programmed. Dale, did you have anything else you wanted? Again, I want to be mindful of everybody's time today.
No, but maybe we should ask if anybody else has any specific questions or things that they think they're going to want to know, but they don't know, and then maybe we can show them that if anybody has anything. Oh, A7. Whoever A7 is, unmuted themselves.
I'm not sure if we know what we don't know.
Well, again, I think that's what the good thing is about the help that you can get, as Leif just showed you there, the technical support that you can get. If you click the help box, it pops down into be able to email the ExecutivePulse technical support, or you can reach out to Ashley and I think that the only problem with doing that is we're busy doing other stuff too, and so we may not get back to you right away, but there's usually lots of support around to help you to figure out how to do something.
Well, Dale and Leif, we were always interested, never pulled the trigger on this. This is a fantastic program. Now it's a matter of just getting everything up to speed and getting our folks working with it and feeling comfortable. So it might be a while before we're totally up to speed, but we feel this is awesome. Thanks very much for doing this tutorial.
All right, no problem. And I think one of the things that, and I want to mention this to all of you, there's a few things there, Leif, and I'm going to ask you to go to a couple of things if you don't mind. If you could go to add a contact. And I know there's just a couple of communities on here that have asked me some questions, and I'll just point some things out. So if you could, or sorry, add a company, Leif, I meant. If you go down to the geographic area. So I have asked the communities, that there's a number of communities that are just onboarding right now, Leif, as you know. And so what we need before we can start the process of setting you up and this is in fairness because ExecutivePulse is really providing us with some, you know, unbelievable technical support at a reasonable price to make it work for us.
I'm using a real system. I'm not going to show
Okay,
the
yeah,
data.
that's good.
This is really Quinnell's dashboard, though. This is really their system. Let's go into Quinnell's. I think they have regions set up, don't they, Dale?
I think they do, yeah.
No, of course they don't.
No,
Who
of course
would?
they don't. Vernon. Oh, yeah, okay, actually, I was going to suggest a different one if you could. Sorry. Can you actually use the SNOBC one, Leif? DC, sorry. It's brand new. Yeah.
It's S.
SNO.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's it.
I remember this one, yep.
Yeah, this one's brand new, so it's a good one to work with.
They don't have a logo. Do we have a logo?
No, they haven't. No, they haven't sent us their logo yet. So,
okay, so it sucks on the imagery side, right? Okay.
But that's okay. So if we go to the geographic area side,
let me jack this up, Dale. Hold on. Okay, geographic. Okay.
I need to know from you because some of you are regional functions. I need to know from you how you want your system to break down, and then when you send me your spreadsheet, I would like you to send me a spreadsheet for each of the geographic areas that you want to input. So like for an example in this one, Armstrong sends me their spreadsheet for Armstrong, other businesses. I import it into the system for them. Same with Jay, Senderby, North Shuswap, Sicamous. And I know like the Nelson area, I believe you've got some sub-regions or something, area F or area, I can't remember which ones they were. If there's specific community names that maybe they're not incorporated, but they have majority of the businesses, we can put those in there as well as area F other. And then so that picks up the businesses that are not necessarily in sort of a community name area. So it's important that you get me that as soon as possible. That and your logo are basically, we can get your system set up rather quickly Leif can, but we need to provide them with that basic information, and then the other stuff we can do afterwards. We don't need your contact lists. We don't need your company import, like right at the start to get you set up. We just need those things to get the system set up, and then you can get I'll assign you all a login information to log into your own system. Okay, A1 has a question. Not. Okay. If you did have a question and maybe you're having a problem there, just type it into the text box, the chat, and we'll do our best to get back to you, or just email us and we'll answer you. And then where it says company email on this contact form, all that really is a placeholder. You can't email the company from the system. Because when you're emailing contacts. So you need to have contact information to be able to put into the system to make it integrate with the contact. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Oh, sorry, we hear you now.
Sorry, guys, my mistake. Had my mic on and got a phone call.
Okay, no problem. No question? No. Okay. Okay, I think that was the only other thing I really wanted to show, Leif, but I thought it was, you know, it really helps. It really helps to be able to do that. And then I think also, Leif, there is that Save Me feature, and I'm not sure if you talked about the Save Me feature with the emails.
You're right there. Give it a shot.
Yeah. So one of the features that ExecutivePulse has is and I can send you all a tutorial on this at any time, but if they have what's called a Save Me feature, and you can, when you're emailing somebody, so you don't have the Outlook module, because the Outlook module doesn't come with the system. Rather than spending the money on the Outlook module, sorry, Leif, you can use what's called the Save Me feature, and So from Outlook, when you're typing an email, if you just add in your BCC, the save me, I believe it's executivepulse.net, it will automatically link to that company in your profile because it's coming from you. So as long as your email address is in the system and the company's contact information, the individual you're emailing, is in the system, it'll link and it'll put that email right into Executive Pulse, into the contact field. So your contact never needs to know that they're doing that. And I think that's it.
Thanks, Dale.
All right. Well, thank you, Leif, and thanks everybody. And again, if you have any questions, let Ashley or I know, or contact the technical support. But yeah, get us your stuff, and we can get it set up relatively quickly.
Thanks again from everybody here in Nelson. Thanks very much.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Hey, I just had a quick question. Normally, when somebody starts from ground zero on this, how long does it usually take a user to get kind of up to speed? To some degree of proficiency. Is it sort of a week-long, month-long thing, or is the
if you're using this a couple of times, you're going to figure this out. We're trying to make it. First off, we're going to help you to eliminate a lot of features you don't need. And then once you understand specifically like how the portfolios are laid out, it doesn't matter where you are in the system, you're always going to feel pretty confident. Most of the time, people within 2-3 user sessions feel pretty good with this.
Well, it's very, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Thanks again.
So just as just on that, I mean, I think back to Vernon Leif, which was the first time I'd ever really used it. When we signed up Vernon for the system, we used them as a pilot. So we went up to Vernon, and we basically, right from scratch, Leif, if you remember, myself and another person, we went into Vernon, and basically, I mean, by the end of the week, we had, interviewed, I think 100 or 50 companies or something like that, entered all the data, we're running the reports, and have never looked back. I mean, but we were using it daily, punching, putting the information in we were collecting. So it really didn't take that long, and the program has come a long way since we started using it. So.
Cool. And are you in Vernon, Dale?
No, I'm in Chilliwack, but I'm in the process of being in Penticton. I haven't told Ashley yet if she's still on the call, but anyway. Sorry, Ashley.
Right on. Okay, well, it's good to know we got somebody in this neck of the woods we can check on if we need a hand.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I say, I'm here to help. So I love helping. I love this program, so it's good to help. Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay. Ashley's still smiling, so it's good. Okay, thanks very much, Leif, for doing the call.
I'll make sure you get this video too. You can post it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Bye.